Oh my god. Okay guys, so today I've been just kind of testing out Kashtira, how it might look in MD once the new cards come out, and I swear man, this Kashtira Rise Heart, it's just, dude, it's gonna ruin the game. This card is an absolute, just a massive mistake. This is a disgusting card. I think a lot of people are gonna start hating Master Duel again with this upcoming format, honestly, because it's just kind of, is going to be kind of like a coin flip or draw nib slash Book of Eclipse type of format. So if you go second, you got to draw the out. And if you're playing Kashtira, you're probably going to be having a really good time. I think it's going to be pretty much just Pearly and Kashtira. I might be wrong about that, but Kashtira now is just going to be absolutely ridiculous. So of course, I'm talking about the leaks that Decade provided us, or I guess I should say his educated guesses. So what I did is I got a couple of replays just to show you guys some of the leaked cards and how they behave. Our Rise Heart is definitely like the most terrifying one. This card is just it's ridiculous. It's really dumb. You know, it's a macrocosmos on legs. It's got a quick effect where it can banish a card face down on the field once per turn. And one of the most disgusting things about this card, it's just gonna attach cards from the banish pile to itself every time a card is banished, and it's a macro on legs. So it actually had some other effects that I didn't even realize it could do. Like for instance, Kashtira Big Bang, if this card is banished, you can like target one of your XCs, detach one of the monsters attached to that XCs and special summon it. So because of that, if you detach the Big Bang that you've attached to your Kashtira Arise Heart from its own effect, you're gonna get that banish effect of Big Bang. The same goes for Theosis. That's gonna add a Kashtira to your hand from your banish pile. So having a Theosis and a Big Bang attached to your Arise Heart is really easy, and it's absolutely broken. So I do have some combo lines for you guys. If you guys are just curious about how the deck is going to play, maybe this video can help. This deck is kind of built for Master Duel. I'm not exactly sure about the ratios 100% yet. Like I might run more nibs if everyone's on cash, and Droll and Lockbird doesn't really work once you have the Arise Heart on the field. Same goes for Max C. I think Max C is still a no-brainer just because it's too broken. Droll and Lockbird, we might end up not playing just because like having a dead Droll and Lock in hand while you have a Rise Heart on the field, that kind of sucks. So I'm not 100% about that yet. I'm not sure if we're going to keep the Droll and Lock, but I do feel like if Pearly's still really popular, you're probably still going to want to run it. We'll just see what happens with that. Overall though, Field Spell is completely busted. Big Bang is completely broken. And Theosis is also just absolutely stupid. So we have a couple of replays. Like I said, guys, we're going to have a replay just kind of focusing on how broken Arise Heart is. Then I have one focusing on how broken Big Bang is. And I also have one showing a combo, a one-card combo with just the field spell that searches a Kashtira. You could basically just call it a unicorn combo because that is the one Kashtira you're going to be searching with a Rate Soth if you don't have any other Kashtiras in hand or anything like that. Just all hand traps. Just playing this deck today, it's just been revealing like, oh my god, bro. Master Duel is going to be nasty. I'm kind of worried about the state of the game. Hopefully, people are not just going to drop the game when these cards come out, but we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, let's get into some of those replays I made. All right, so starting off with this one here. This one's just about how broken Arise Heart is. Sorry for the speed of the game. Like, this is not like Master Duel. I can't make it any faster. So it's a little bit weird. I will have to stop it here and there. So basically here, I'm going to summon the Rise Heart, and I'm going to activate Kashtira Theosis, special summoning out the Kashtira Fenrir. If you guys don't know what Theosis does, Theosis, basically, you target a Kashtira monster on your field, and you can special summon a Kashtira monster from your deck with a different attribute. And pretty much all the Kashtiras, except Scareclaw Kashtira and Fenrir, have different attributes. So this is pretty much always going to be able to resolve if you have any Kashtira on the field. It's pretty broken. Actually, it's super broken. Now we're going to go for Fenrir, search the unicorn since we already have the Birth in hand, and now we can activate Birth. I'm going to activate the Scareclaw Kashtira. So if you guys have not read this one yet, Scareclaw Kashtira, I can banish a Kashtira from my hand or my graveyard, any Kashtira card, including Cash Theosis, which can come up sometimes. So here I'm going to banish the unicorn to special summon out the Scareclaw Kashtira. Then I'm going to trigger my Birth to bring back my unicorn. Unicorn effect, we're just going to grab another copy of Theosis for later in the game, and then notice I haven't used my Rise Heart yet. We're going to make a Shangri Era, and then we're going to use the effect of Rise Heart. The reason I'm waiting to use Rise Heart is that you want to use it once the Shangri Era is already on the field, because to cheat out your Kashtira Arise Heart, you have to have used the effect of a Kashtira Shangri Era this turn. So basically, there we go. Activate this, banish a couple cards. We banish our Kashtira Big Bang, and I'm going to talk about this card more. It's super broken, but basically with Big Bang, I can target my Shangri Era, add one of its materials to my hand, and then I can choose to special summon it or keep it in my hand. So by banishing the Big Bang here, we get to bring back our Fenrir as well. And using our copy of Rise Heart, we go into a Rise Heart. So with that, we have a Rise Heart, a Rise Heart, sorry. We have a Kashtira Unicorn, we have a Fenrir, and we have our Shangri-Ira. Now, that was a really good hand, to be fair. But yeah, so basically now, my opponent's stuck on a macro. During their standby phase, I'm going to summon out the Ogre. They're going to go for Pot of Desires, banishing 10, which means we can trigger the effect of our Arise Heart. And they're playing like some weird Ignister deck. I was playing against bots in this game, so I was just trying to practice the deck. Obviously, their decks are not going to be the best thing ever. Keep in mind, like, this all could have been outed by a single Nibiru, could have been outed by a Book of Eclipse, could have been outed by, I guess you could out the Arise Heart with a Kaiju. So, you know, it's not like completely unbeatable. You just have to draw the out. That being said here, we're just going to play into this stuff a little bit, remove some of their zones with the Shangri-Ira, and we just get to keep adding materials from the banish piles to our Arise Heart every single time that a card is getting banished. It's kind of hard to keep up with what's going on in this simulator. That's why I don't love making videos with Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega. I do think it's very confusing to look at. I think Master Duel is a lot better for that. I mean, right now, as you can see, like, we're just like kind of interrupting all their plays, and just the fact that they have no graveyard. Obviously, Ignister is not going to be able to do much with no graveyard. We did get rid of their field spell using the Fenrir. Now they grabbed another field spell with the Picari at Ignister. Here, I'm going to grab one of their materials, and I'm also going to trigger my Ogre just for the fun of it, you know, get to look at a couple of cards, banish another one, and also remove a zone using the Shangri-Ira. Card gets banished face down. We get to trigger the Arise Heart, attach a material, Shangri-Ira, remove a material, remove a zone. Then I'm going to use the quick effect of Arise Heart to banish face down their Ignister AI land by removing 3 materials. And one of the materials I removed is a Big Bang. And this is really crazy because I get to trigger Big Bang again, targeting my my Shangri-Ira, and I get to add to my hand my Scareclaw Kashtira. I'm going to actually keep it in my hand this time. They're going to make a Splash Mage with no graveyard because they're CPU. And also, just to let you know, we did banish their access code with the Unicorn just in case. And yeah, in standby phase, we get to use Shangri-Ira again and go for the Rise Heart. And at this point, I'm just kind of overextending because I just kind of want to show you just like how crazy this deck is. You know, like, obviously we could have went for game super easily. I think I'm going to miss lethal here because I just really want to like close out all the zones or something like that. It's just very silly stuff. This deck is really dumb. So again, like, the amount of chains going on here just because a Rise Heart keeps taking back materials every time a card is sent to the banish pile. Here I'm going to make a second copy of Shangri-Ira. I just kind of wanted to lock out all the zones. Is there a reason for it? Not really. We pretty much already had the game, but it's just to show you, like, just this deck just keeps building advantage. We searched our preparation, so now we activate it. Going to swing with the Unicorn, get to trigger the Unicorn effect, banish a card face down, then we get to remove 2 zones again. And yeah, it's just kind of silly. So I'm going to pass turn here. My opponent is going to draw and do absolutely nothing, and then they're going to pass turn again. So let's just fast forward a little bit here, get to the end. But yeah, this deck is just really silly. Here I just summon out the Rise Heart so I can banish some cards from the top of their deck and finally get rid of all their zones. I'm just kind of BMing this bot. The reason I'm doing this is just because I want to showcase like how stupid this deck is. Right now they have absolutely no zones, which is just really dumb, you know. Like, there's just something, man. This deck is going to be so freaking annoying. Now, to be fair, like, we were on turn 5 when they lost all their zones. Without the Diablosis, it's going to be a lot less likely to get to that point very early, thankfully. But this is still, like, just absolutely ridiculous. We have some more replays, so let's get into one where I just kind of want to focus more on how broken Big Bang is, because you get recursion with the Cash Theosis and the Big Bang by attaching them to your Arise Heart and then attaching them. I do want to showcase that a bit more in depth here. So here we are. We have a Unicorn in hand. We have our Birth. We have our Planet Rice-Off, and we have a triple tactics talent. You know, nothing too crazy. This hand looks busted, but it's a pretty common hand for Kashtira unless you completely brick. So we're going to go Unicorn here. We're going to grab our Theosis, and our hand is just looking absolutely silly. We're going to go for Rice-Off, grabbing our Rise Heart. I think I might have misplayed my order in this game a little bit. I'm not super used to this deck yet, but honestly, this deck has a pretty low skill floor. Like, it's really stupidly easy to play, which is kind of scary. It's probably got like a pretty high skill ceiling, I'm guessing, but like the basics are just too simple. It's actually silly. So anyway, I'm going to summon out the Fenrir using the Cash Theosis, since Fenrir has a different attribute than Unicorn. Then we can go for a Fenrir effect. I'm going to grab a Scareclaw Kashtira. Then I'm going to activate my Kashtira Birth. We're going to make ourselves a Shangri-Ira, special out the Rise Heart, then Rise Heart effect while the Shangri-Ira is on the field. I can banish with my Rise Heart a copy of Big Bang, and this is super broken because we'll get to trigger the Big Bang and the effect of Shangri-Ira. Kind of talked about this earlier. So Big Bang, target the Shangri-Ira. add back the Fenrir to my hand, which I can then special summon, and we'll also get the trigger, like block one of our opponent's zones, which means then we can also summon out the Arise Heart. So here we go, get our Fenrir on the field. We can even go for Scareclaw Kashtira here, special summoning it by banishing a card. Here I'm going to banish the Cash Theosis, but I'm actually not going to trigger the Cash Theosis. If you trigger it, you can add back your Big Bang to your hand, and Big Bang on the field is not that good. Like, it's not a bad card by any means. Obviously, in a bad situation, getting to like just make it so your opponent has to only have one monster is good, but I definitely don't think like Big Bang is better to have on the field than in the banish pile, where you can like recycle it with your Arise Heart. So with that being said, we have our Arise Heart. With these two, I'm going to make a second copy of Shangri-Ira, and next, like, I could have kept the Fenrir here if I wanted to, but I just felt like it's kind of overwhelming for your opponent if you can like block out all their zones throughout their turn, and it's really not that hard to do. So I'm going to pass on 2 Shangri-Ira here with my Arise Heart. So here we go, pass turn, my opponent draws. We're going to go for the standby phase effect, bring a Fenrir out of the deck here. And then as soon as they start playing, let's see. Yeah, so they're going to summon Evil Swarm, Heliotrope. Again, these are bots from Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, so they don't do much of anything. But either way here, they trigger an effect, so we get to trigger, a material with the Arise Heart. We also get to trigger our Fenrir to banish a face-up card, and they're going to activate their Infestation Pandemic. Not that it's going to do anything. So because we banish a card face down, we can trigger 2 times our Shangri-Ira, blocking out 2 zones. Then I'm gonna, when they set 2 cards, I'm gonna use the effect of Arise Heart here to banish one of them face down, which is gonna trigger my Shangri-Ira. I kind of misclicked here and forgot to trigger the second Shangri-Ira. That's just kind of my bad, but it is what it is. And when we activate our Arise Heart, we're actually gonna detach our Big Bang Shot. Kind of goes to show how broken this is, because now with the Big Bang Shot, I can special summon the unicorn that was attached to my Shangri-Ira. So we're blocking zones. We're just building a bunch of advantage. Look at this stuff. This is super ridiculous. It's super dumb. I didn't realize that Arise Heart also gave you the ability to just recycle the materials on Shangri-Ira. I did not know that until I started practicing the deck, and discovering this has made the deck look even more scary to me. I really do think, like, where is it? Is it on him right now? Yeah. The Kashtira Big Bang and Theosis things that you can do, the loops you can do with these 2 cards, just by, like, attaching them and detaching them from Arise Heart, make this card, like, 10 times scarier than I expected. And I already thought this card was super broken, like a custom card level card, so it's just silly. But anyway, gonna go Fenrir here. Search a Kashtira Scareclaw. At this point, we're just kind of pressing buttons. I'm just kind of showcasing how much advantage this deck will generate. This deck, honestly, might just straight up ruin this game. Like, it's actually disgusting. Again, here, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm literally just pressing buttons. We can fast forward through this stuff. Like, I just kind of wanted to show just how much recursion you get off of that stuff. Like, you build so much card advantage by looping your Theosis and your Big Bang. It's just absolutely stupid. It is so dumb. So yeah, we got more triggers on the Shangri-Iras, blocking out more zones, doing a little bit of damage. You know, do I miss lethal? No, I get lethal this game, right? Yeah, I get lethal this turn. So like, not that it would have been hard to get lethal, but yeah, this stuff is just completely silly. Don't forget to loop your Big Bangs. Don't forget to send the Big Bang to the banish pile using your Rise Heart. That's going to be probably your best target to banish with Rise Heart, depending on the scenario. Of course, sometimes if you have like a birth or stuff like that, like, it might be better to not do that, but for the most part, I feel like the no-brainer combo is going to be that. And actually, speaking of no-brainer combo, next up, I just want to show you the 1-card combo when you draw just a field spell and like a bunch of hand traps and stuff like that. So let's get on to that. All right, in this one, I'm going to show you guys just how brain dead this deck is. So as you can see here, we have a Nibiru, a Maxi, an Imperm, and a D-Shifter, and a Planet Right-Soth, which just searches a Kashtira basically. It also has the added effect of being able to pop a card when a Shangri-Ira effect is activated, or well, if a Shangri-Ira effect is activated, which can come up for sure. It is definitely a strong effect. But anyway, let's just go for it here. So Planet Right-Soth, add the Kashtira Unicorn to our hand. This is all a 1-card combo. Kashtira Unicorn, activate. We grab a Kashtira Theosis. Then we can go Kashtira Theosis, target the Unicorn, and we can also chain the Shifter before the Theosis goes to the grave, just so that my opponent is under Shifter. If they Kaiju my Arise Heart, let's say, or something like that, they're still going to have to deal with the fact that they're playing under macro, basically. Our deck really does not care about Shifter whatsoever. So, summoning out the Fenrir here. Fenrir is going to search a Rise Heart, of course. Now we're going to make our, well, summon out the Rise Heart, make ourselves a Shangri-Ira, and just like we did so many times today, we're going to make our Shangri-Ira, then we're going to activate our Kashtira Rise Heart effect, and we're going to banish a Big Bang to start looping Big Bangs. Again, all of this is happening off of just the field spell, so this field spell is completely busted. So here we go. Banish that. Then the Big Bang triggers. We get to special summon out either our Unicorn or our Fenrir from our Kashtira Shangri-Ira. And yeah, we also get to block out one of their zones. So anyway, let's keep going here. So summon out the Unicorn. Make our Arise Heart using our Arise Heart on the field, set the Imperm. Now, of course, while Arise Heart is on the field, I can't activate this Maxi, which is unfortunate. That's just kind of a reality of this deck in Master Duel. I really don't think you're going to stop playing Maxi just because Arise Heart is like your boss monster. I really just don't see it. It's Maxi. You're going to play it because you want to draw into Nib. Also, if you're going second, you want to activate Maxi and draw into Nib so you can get rid of your opponent's Kashtira stuff. So you're 100% going to be playing Maxi even if you can't activate it under your own Arise Heart. It is what it is. And even if they kaiju'd it and they outed us somehow, we're also under Shifter, right? So that's just not going to be happening this turn. It's fine. We're still looking really good here with a Unicorn and a Rise Heart and an Imperm on the field. And in the standby, you get to grab a Fenrir with the Shangri-Ira. They have one less zone. I like, by the way, this is just a tip here. I don't know if this is like considered viable, but I think if you're going for monster zones, you should always put your first blocked monster zone under their extra monster zone in case they're playing some kind of link deck, because very often link decks will have an arrow pointing down. So if you can just like lock that zone, that can actually really hinder link decks. So as a first zone, I think the zone right under here is going to be the best one. I don't know if that's considered optimal, and obviously if you're going for spells and traps, then this doesn't apply. But if you're going for monsters, I think this is always the most optimal one to grab first. Either way, let's just keep going here. Our opponent activates security token or something. We get to grab a bunch of materials. I'm going to trigger my Fenrir, trigger my Unicorn. They're playing Math Mech. We banished our monster. They're going to summon a subtraction twice. They normal summon the first one using their second normal summon, and then they're going to special summon this one by lowering the attack of our Arise Heart. So they special summon it. They're going to make themselves an Alimbertion. At this point, I decide to just go Imperm on the Alimbertion, and they're going to go for the battle phase. In the battle phase, I'm going to activate... wait, do I activate anything? No, I don't even activate anything. We're going to go Arise Heart in the main phase 2 to banish face down that card so that we can trigger our Shangri-Ira. We also detach a Big Bang. We detached a Big Bang and a Kashtira Theosis, I believe. So now we're going to be triggering our Theosis, adding back our Rise Heart to our hand. And you guys can kind of see, like, that looping is just ridiculous. Here, I did do a pretty big misplay. It's very funny. They did activate it in the Imperm column because they're a stupid bot. But, like, I had no reason to use my field spell and pop their token. I just kind of wanted to showcase, like, oh my god, look how this deck is just popping off. But, obviously, like, if there's a useless token on the field and they're in main phase 2, you don't just, like, pop it and give them the opportunity to use their Lightning Storm, you know? So that was kind of on me, but whatever. Either way, they activated in the Emperor column, which is funny. Nice computer, bro. And yeah, so because a card was sent to the grave, I get to grab a material. We special summon out the Ogre and the standby with the Shangri-Ira. Ogre effect, grab the preparations. And here we just build a bunch of advantage. Honestly, like, obviously we already have game here. So I'm just kind of showcasing, again, how, like, just oppressive this deck is. And that's really the best way to describe it. This deck is really oppressive. So here we're going to go for game. I don't know why I decided to use the Ogre effect here. I really don't know. We're just pressing buttons at this point. This deck is super, super duper nasty. Let's go back to the deck list and let's just talk about, like, how disgusting this is going to be for the game. So just to reiterate, I'm not really sure that a build like this is going to be, like, the optimal way to play the deck. I just, like, this is good enough. Like, I'm confident that if I go into Master Duel with this deck list, when these cards drop, it's going to be good enough. I do have 3 Arise Heart in here. I really think they're going to limit Arise Heart before dropping the set. I think they're going to do one of those, like, emergency ban lists like they did for Totally Awesome and stuff like that. So surely we won't get to play 3 Arise Heart. That would be absolutely ridiculous. But regardless, even if we only have 1 Arise Heart, this deck is going to be super dominant, like, inevitably. And it might make, like, ranked ladder, like, just really awful. I really don't like Floodgates in general. This card is just a macro on legs. And just having to contend with a macro pretty much, like, half your games is going to make so many decks irrelevant. Now, there are decks that are going to be, like, pretty good. Like, Ninjas, for instance, have a good Kashtira matchup. I guess, like, maybe, like, I don't know, Crystal Beast doesn't care about their graveyard that much. Maybe Crystal Beast is playable. No idea. I kind of doubt it, but I guess it could be. But yeah, overall, I think it's just going to be really rough. I really don't like this card. I think it's very, very, very poorly designed. Just, like, way too broken. Literally, like, custom card levels. I really don't see the world where Dragoon is considered a bannable card but this card is allowed to be legal. It's just crazy to me. So yeah, I really don't like this card. I wish it didn't exist. I just wanted to show you guys like what you can expect, how disgusting this is going to be. And obviously if you want to play Kashtira to have a chance in the ladder, well, this is going to be like a good reference point before, like right when the cards come out, before I drop my official deck profile and stuff like that. But man, I'm really not looking forward to it. But that's about it. So thanks for checking out the video. All right. Peace.